Vocabulary Part 4. Here's my personal story. I grew up in a small working class neighborhood in New Jersey. My parents were not English speakers. German was the spoken language in our house. I went to school obviously in an English speaking school, and I always had the feeling growing up that my vocabulary was a lot worse than my peers. And the excuse I always had for myself was that my parents didn't speak English at home, and I was not entitled at home to listen to the same caliber of English that all of my friends could listen to. And so I had this built-in excuse growing up for why my vocabulary was lacking. And I used that excuse my entire middle school and high school career, and I don't know how it happened, but I was lucky enough to get accepted at Princeton University. I was a very strong math and science student. I was a great soccer player, and I think between those two things I wound up getting in. And so when I got to Princeton, I realized that my vocabulary was going to be even, or the difference between my vocabulary and my classmates was going to be even more dramatic and more drastic at Princeton than it had been in high school and grammar school. And so what did I do? I didn't start building my vocabulary. I just took every math and science course that I possibly could, and I avoided every liberal arts class that involved a paper or a lot of reading or anything like that. Okay? So I wound up getting through Princeton, and I decided that I wanted to become a teacher, and so I decided to pursue a master's degree. So in part of applying to a master's program, I had to take the GREs. Now the GREs is a lot like the old SAT was. There was a math section and a verbal section. So I take the GREs, I crush the math, and I do terrible on the verbal, even lower than I had done on the SATs 4 years before. So now I'm pretty embarrassed, but it doesn't stop me. I wind up getting into a graduate school, and I begin my studies. Well, within a month of being in the graduate program, I had one teacher who had identified pretty quickly that my vocabulary was lacking. He pulls me aside after class and he says, "Carl, what's the story? You're a well-educated guy. You're very excited about this program. You seem like a really bright guy. Why is your vocabulary so bad?" And I gave him my standard excuse. Hey, I grew up in a household where they didn't speak English, and so there's my excuse. He said to me, "Listen, forget it. You got to be kidding me. All right? You've gone through 22 years of your life using that excuse? Vocabulary is something easy to build. It just takes time and it takes some effort. No more excuses for you. You're starting today. I'm going to follow up with you." Okay? And what he did was, when I got to class the next week, he said, "I want to see your list of words. I want to see how many words you've memorized in the last week." And I produced a list and I showed him that I had memorized 15 words. "Good start," he said. "Keep it going." I then started to hear the words in life. I started to get encouraged. I became motivated. And within an 8-month period, I had probably improved my vocabulary by about 2,000 words. Okay? And this is the moral of the story. Okay? I never missed a party. I never missed a work obligation. I never missed a class. I never missed anything that I wanted to do. I did all the vocabulary building in my free time. I did it in the 20 minutes I had before class. I did it in the 20 minutes I had after class before a friend of mine met me. I did it in all the pockets of free time that everybody has every single day, and I changed my world, okay? And then on a lark, what I wound up doing was I went and I took the GRE again, and my score had jumped 250 points in the verbal section alone, and it all came from vocabulary building. I started to feel empowered in the world. I started to feel like there weren't too many situations that I could be in that would intimidate me, all right? Let me give you one last word of warning, all right? I think building a vocabulary is one of the best things you can do for yourself to ensure that you become a powerful person in the world, okay? But I think a lot of kids fear that if they have this great vocabulary, people are going to think they're a geek, people are going to think they're a jerk. Here's my response to that, okay? If you have a strong vocabulary, it doesn't mean you need to use it. It doesn't mean you need to wear it on your sleeve and be obnoxious about it, okay? The word pedantic means showing off what you know. You don't need to be pedantic, but having the vocabulary will help you understand most situations you're in and lead to a more successful life, okay? So I did it in an 8-month period. Please don't wait until you're 23 years old to do it. Do it now. You can do it in your free time. You will change your world.